the Sacred Light Collective podcast. Welcome back. I am your host, Ali, and I am so excited to welcome you here and welcome you into 2023. It has been such an interesting journey, and we're only on day 2 of the year. I have really wanted to step into recording a podcast. Ideally, I had reflections for 2022 in mind, and I had sat down many times on the 31st to record something, and I was getting a big no. And I felt to go inward and to spend a lot of time with my higher self, my heart, and my guides, spirit, and just really connecting to myself and connecting to the closure of my own journey. Which was really interesting for me. And I understand why now, as even on the first, isn't it funny? Because in my mind said you need to launch something, to release something, because it's the start of the year and, you'd like it to tie into the energy themes for 2023, because I had channeled I channeled an energy transmission from the Akashic Records, which I do every month. And if that is of interest to you, it is on my blog, and I'll put a link in the show notes. And I had that information, and I really wanted to share some of the key themes that I was feeling. And it was interesting to reflect on that. And this is message guidance 1 for the theme coming through for 2023. Is that Spirit was really sharing with me that I needed to be with that, and I needed to sit with that for myself before it was time to share it. So I needed to be able to retreat, to allow that energy, the realizings and the calibration and the integration to be with me before sharing it with anybody else. And leaning in and really listening to myself on that was really important, because in the past I would have tried to push through that, and I would have let my mind or my masculine drive, my masculine energy drive, to want to create something and to do something because that is what I thought that I needed to do. And so the theme here is about recognizing when some key pieces, when some of your journey is just for you. And that over the course of this year, we are really deepening our dive into remembrance of who we are and embodying that more. I am being shown, not just for me, but for us as a collective, there is a greater awakening occurring. And of course, we're all at different stages. So the depths of that will vary, and there'll be more of a collective awakening. And through that, it is going to be really important to be anchored in connection with yourself, to really develop that relationship with your higher self, your sacred self, your spirit within your body, your I am presence. And it's going to be that inner journey. There's less external pull, there's less external seeking, and more inward. So already, just in this last 3 days since the 31st, I find myself wanting to share and to step out or to say something to somebody, and I feel the pull inward. It's like, hold that a little bit longer. Feel that a little bit more. Is that something that needs to be shared, or is that just for you and your journey? So I wanted to share that because my guides were saying that's not just for me, that is for the broader collective. It is about honoring yourself and honoring the biggest step, the biggest work that is here is all internal. It's all inward. It's the inner work, the inner journey. And yes, there will be times when you need to share that, or you will desire to share that, or you will need help, you will need support from, a healer or whatever guide that might be, whatever teacher that might be, mentor, professional, whatever it is that you need as part of that. But trust that you will know when that is the time for you, or you'll know when you're ready to reach for that. Because you have all the answers that you seek within you. You have all that you need within you. And if you could just take the cap off that and feel into that and be that, become that, you open up into more grace, into more peace, love, flow, effortlessness. And so, as simply as it sounds, the key, the theme, the energy coming in for this year is a deeper remembering of who you are, connecting more into that remembering, into that spirit self, your higher self, your I am presence, connecting into that spark of source that exists within you. And so there's a deeper exploration ahead. And I want to prepare you for that, because there is a call to creating time to connect, to devote, to be in devotion to yourself every single day. And that might simply be when you wake up, taking in a few deep breaths, holding a prayer for you or your loved ones, or for the energy, the state of being that you desire. It might take a minute or two, but allow that to be your devotional practice. It might be meditation. It might be a grounding practice. It might be movement, a form of movement. It might be simply lighting a candle. It might be simply connecting with yourself deeply in the mirror and sharing love, acceptance, gratitude for this physical form that is housing your spirit, your higher self, allowing your soul, your higher self, your spirit self to experience this journey of life. And I feel somewhat like I'm a broken record, because I feel like I'm saying the same thing all the time. And I do this with my client sessions in one-on-one. Sometimes the person leaves, and as I sit in thanks and gratitude to the spirit team for the co-creation, I also sometimes wonder, my mind wonders, can it be that simple? Why am I saying the same thing? Do people get sick of me saying the same thing? And the answer is always the same. Even as I questioned the guidance coming through for the year ahead. This whole experience is a journey of remembering who you are, moving around that spiral, moving closer and closer to the power, to the depth, to the creator being, that spark of source. In the channeled written transmission, there was such a clear emphasis on remembering that we are made in the image and the likeness of the creator, that we are creator beings. We do not realize our power, our full potential. And that is what's here for us to journey towards, to journey within to. So no one else can lead you there. We can guide you, we can facilitate that, we can support you, we can remind you and encourage you and be your cheerleader. But only you can step on that path. Only you can take those steps through those challenging moments, those ups and downs. But another key theme that was coming through was remembering that we have the power to choose. We have free will, the freedom of our will to choose. So Spirit was reminding us to choose clearly and consciously. And that's something that I have been exploring personally over 2022. And that didn't surprise me when they shared that as a key theme, not just for me to continue in awareness of, but to continue sharing that as an understanding that so many of us are in a state of suffering, emotional suffering, let's call it, emotional suffering. We're holding ourselves hostage. We are condemning ourselves to a place of emotional suffering. And all we need to do is take back our power and choose clearly and consciously what it is that we desire. And sometimes that is the courage, the bravery to say no, or to step through those limiting beliefs, those stories, those places of self-sabotage where the mind would rather us be in the suffering, to be held captive by our circumstance and our situation. And again, I asked, is it really that simple? And the answer, it's as simple as you make it to be. So I would invite you to consider this intention of it being easier. It can be easier. It can be simply choosing to no longer subscribe to that belief, to play in that way, to act in that way. And yes, there might be some ups and downs as you move through that, but that is how we step through. That is how we clear that. That is how we rewire that pathway in our brain. And a couple of episodes back, I think you'll find where I talked about we have to go through it, moving through that uncomfortable. And it's at that moment when it is most critical to choose clearly and consciously with intention of, yes, this feels like I'm in the depths of the fire. I can feel the heat of the flames scorching my skin. But a couple more steps and I'm through. If you can walk through the fire, walk through the pain, the hurt, the suffering, stepping into the grace, the freedom, the peace, the love that exists for you on the other side. Grace was a key part of the theme, surrendering to grace. And I've been hearing grace a lot over the last few months, and a dear friend of mine often speaks in the terms of grace. When I speak compassion, she often speaks grace, and I didn't really understand what grace was or how that felt. And I think most of us probably use the term grace, maybe somewhat unconsciously. I know that I often say with ease and grace, but it was interesting that I really struggled, or my mind struggled, to embrace this surrendering to grace. What does that even mean? And I spent some time Googling, as you do, the definitions and the meanings of grace. And there's so many really. And I ended up settling with something that felt probably the closest. And my guides really want me to sit with what grace means to me. So I don't want to spend too long on this because I want that to be for you too. I want you to connect with what grace means for you. But as I read what grace means in connection to the Bible, it said it's a gift from God to the people, generous, free, totally unexpected, and undeserved. It takes the form of divine love, favor, clemency, and to share in that divine life of God with love, compassion, mercy, even when we feel we don't deserve it. And grace means that even when you feel that you deserve that suffering, even when you don't want to let go of that pain, your mind tells you, I can't let it go. I must suffer for this, because of this. Grace asks of you not to hold that suffering. It offers you divine love, freedom, compassion, and mercy. And I'm not someone that I would describe as religious. And I use the concept of God and I use the reference to God. And for me, I'm still on a journey personally about the connection I feel to what God is. I see it more as a mother, father aspect to God and Sophia and Source. But what I do know is that whatever that is and however you resonate with God, with Source, Creator, Sophia, even the primordial light, you are not meant to hold yourself in the suffering, in that emotional state of suffering. And grace offers you the pathway through. The mercy, the forgiveness, the love, and the compassion, even when perhaps you don't fully feel like that is what you deserve. Just taking a breath and receiving that. How does it feel to extend that offer of grace to yourself? Maybe you don't even connect with what your emotional suffering is at the moment. Connect to that frequency and that energy of grace. I can already feel that softening, sinking down into more of my body. It's almost like a letting go. I feel like my body's just slumping down, like thank you, thank you, thank you. So outside of receiving this transmission, I would invite you to connect with the energy or the frequency or the meaning of grace for you, how that feels, where you feel it. And connecting to it to bring it into your state of being for 2023. And maybe that is a prayer that you are programming, an intention, a conscious choosing to receive and to be, to give more in grace, in peace, in love, in compassion, in forgiveness. And with all that aside, I also want to share that Spirit also wants us to not feel that heaviness. They want 2023 to be more of an energy of lightness, of play, to seek the fun in life, to seek the pleasurable moments, to do the things that we love that light us up, to not see this journey as such a heavy, demanding, challenging weight. Again, coming back to this idea that it's as simple as we make it. Our mind, our humanness wants to overcomplicate this all the time. And I know my guides often say to me to let go of certain things or to step back, because simply sometimes bringing the light of awareness to something is enough for it to be released, to dissipate that emotional suffering, to call you back into your own power, to continue to shine your light. Rather than disempowering, dimming your light. So choose to be light, playful, to seek the fun, and to remember that less is more. Less is more. I was receiving for myself that it is a year of slowing down. And I again question that. I do a lot of questioning and I invite you to do the same. I invite you to do the same because this is how we learn. I questioned my team and I said, but you had me slow down in 2022 and I did. And I'm ready to take the action. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to move in the momentum. And what I received was less is more, less is more. And it took me a number of days to really understand what they were trying to say. And understanding that it feels like for me and you, and that is why I felt drawn to share this, that we're being invited to step more into our inner feminine energy, to step more into the receptivity, to step more into the cyclic nature, our cycles, to know that there can be more achieved and done when we allow more of the flow from this place. And, you know, my inner masculine energy protests all the time, backed up by my ego, my mind. So much so that I felt like I needed to be releasing a podcast on the 31st, on the 1st, and here I am on the 2nd, just recording this now. And it's stepping outside of what the mind wants you to do, what that old way of being through the masculine driven focus wanted you to do, and listening and knowing when it's time to take action, and that the action might be a lot more simple than you first thought. You don't need to show up switched on 365 days a year, 24/7. You show up when you feel that call, that pull, the idea or the inspiration strikes, and watch how it all flows. And watch how, quite simply, it just happens. I mean, you might have noticed yourself when you want to do something or you want to create something or achieve something, and the more you hustle at it, the more you push and the strive for it, the longer it takes and the less it feels like it wants to come together. And then maybe as soon as you let go of that, or maybe it's something else where you've actually stepped back and you've slowed down and you've received something, and then, wow, it just all falls into place. And I share that kind of experience when on the 30th and 31st of December, I was connecting to the information for the collective of wanting to share what was here for the energy themes for the year ahead. And there was not enough space given for myself. And it comes back to also that theme that I was mentioning at the beginning of understanding that this is your journey, that this is personal to you, and that you need to receive first and foremost for you. And in giving from that overflow, enables it to be birthed with more ease. And had I not listened, I would have missed some really important pieces of the puzzle, insights, integration, remembering for myself. And so, whatever role you have in human form, whatever role you're playing or expressing yourself through, whether that be through social media, whether that be through your community as a parent, maybe a teacher, colleague, sibling, daughter, son, grandparent, connect to your own journey, your own inner wisdom, and listen. What I'm really feeling to say as part of that now is to not just listen to receive for you, but to also listen to receive when it's time to stay silent. Sometimes we're in a rush to share or to influence others or to guide others. And of course, this is purely from this place of love. Like, we want to help, we want to support, we don't want to see others in pain or the suffering or hurting, or maybe we can see the puzzle piece that they haven't quite seen yet. And I'm getting that reminder to also trust everyone is on their own journey. And sometimes the best thing we can do is just to be the space holder, to be there as they find their way and their spiral of inner discovery through their sacred inner space. So I'm going to wrap it up there. My mind is telling me that I've just jumped all over the place and that I'm not making any sense. And I'm going to let that be. I'm sharing that as I'm seeing this image of feeling the flames, feeling the fire, the uncomfortableness of sharing this, putting words out into the world. Sharing this transmission. And I'm just breathing and just holding myself here. I'm feeling to be in this moment, to also show you that it can be done. Yet you can feel the heat of the fire. My skin is literally on fire. I want you just to place your hands over your heart. I feel like we need to share in this and collect as a collective. There's something that wants to come through here. So placing your hands over your heart, and I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, breathing that down into the base of the spine, right down into your root, base chakra. Allowing a moment, a memory, a situation, a feeling, whatever your emotional suffering feels to be at this time, letting it come to you. Feeling yourself sitting in a fire. I see us cross-legged, sitting in the middle of the flames of a campfire. Feeling the heat beneath where you sit, feeling the heat coming up and around the edges of the body, the skin, all the way up over the crown of your head like you're in the fire. Allow yourself to feel that. And that fire might be a feeling within you. You might feel that in a particular part of your body. You might feel the emotion, the frequency, the reaction. Let it be what it is. Let it come forward. Let it come up through the heart. Let yourself feel it underneath your hands over your heart space. Feel the emotion, the intensity, the heat. Zikotoi zikatamandekerushikapatai. Zikatatai roku umishkatatai roku makti. Zikuti la isukuto jikamandekoruku ma nikishkutaka mkatishkata mkatekshkataka push. Taking a breath and feeling that start to dissipate under your hands, through maybe the front and the back of your heart space, your chest, your upper back. Feeling it dissipate, feeling a coolness. It might even feel like water. You might see a soft color. Nahusho manayato shakera ishko omakatejuk o lakita maijoko yetoko. Nzi oze utokuru minaijoko tika shikatairo manai. Your higher self, your I am presence is the cooling, soothing balm, the light, the watery energy that is flowing through the heart and spiraling, releasing, dissipating the fire, the intensity, and emotional pain, that suffering. Allowing your crown, the top of your head to open and feeling that spiraling up and out through the crown of the head, going up into the stars, the heavens, high in the sky. Connecting more fully to your I am presence. You might even notice it feels like it's being drained upwards. Allow the heart to open. Opening, feeling it opening right from within you, like it feels so expansive under your hands. You might even want to start to open your hands, take your hands off your chest and stretch your arms out wide. Big, deep breath in. And as you exhale, feeling that light, that liquid of your higher self flowing down your body, out through the hands, out through the body, flowing down into the lower abdomen, into your base, your root. Letting it flow all the way down your legs, receiving that full cooling essence of your higher self, your I am presence, all the way down the legs, slowly cooling and releasing any of that intensity and that heat. Coming right down to the soles of the feet, and maybe see or feel that extending out into that fire that you are sitting in, this cooling, light, watery feel. It's extinguishing that fire beneath you, allowing you to come down, right down into the body. Really feel that ground beneath you, or the chair that you're sitting on beneath your sit bones. Pouring the light of your I am presence right through the body, coming from your heart, from the crown, washing over the outside of your skin now. Aero shakatia zakarumina jugurum makashukuyenai zekirero kuturu shakatarai kujakamandana rokatarai juguula zero kapatatai jugura katatarai jugamanai zizo 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 zi zizo 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 zi zizo 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 zi. And just grounding, we are just grounding you, sending the light of your I am presence, your highest self, through the soles of your feet, down into your Earth Star chakra, deep in the earth. Connecting in, just seeing it wrap around the Earth Star chakra, within and without, wrapping around. Really anchoring your I am presence into your Earth Star, into your presence here on Earth. Taking a deep breath in, opening and expanding the full length of your body, within, without, expanding with your breath and feeling the coolness, the softness, the peace, the compassion, the love, the grace that now exists within the body. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you, beautiful souls. Thank you for sharing in that beautiful activation and release. Spirit wants you to know that it gets to be that easeful, that simple, that you can release and receive now at the same time. And that as you choose consciously, clearly, with the highest intention, You can release and you can receive in your highest. The light, the love, the divinity within me honors the light, the love, and the divinity within you. Thank you for co-creating with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.